So I came into my office this Saturday morning to catch up on a little bit of work and ended up finding myself on Facebook. And I see another one of these articles about the 15 million available vacant homes in the U.S. housing market. And I just kind of wanted to take a closer look at that because that leads to a lot of confusion, especially for people who are out trying to purchase homes and they're looking at, nothing available. Housing prices are super high. There's 8, 9, 10 offers per home when they're putting offers in. And it's just not going to make any sense to them. Why? On one end, you're out looking for homes, can't find anything, but you're seeing articles about 15 million available vacant U.S. homes. You're seeing news articles about housing prices being at an all-time high, yet at the same time, all of these available homes, it's not making any sense. So I just want to take a closer look at it. I'm going to be looking at some of the 2017 census data because that's the most recent complete data that the Census Bureau has on the breakdown of available U.S. homes. And it kind of reveals what really that number is about. And one of the most important things is that this number that they have here is taking during a snapshot in time, like one single when that census was taking, what homes were vacant right then, not homes that were vacant all year, not homes that have just been sitting there for 3 years. Homes that were vacant at the time that they were taking a survey, and that's really important because as you start to see this get broken down, well, the first data is not going to be relevant to that because the 35% here that's listed in other vacant, that represents homes that are obsolete, meaning that they've been abandoned. They probably need to be torn down. Anybody who's ever been to a major city or lived in a major city where everywhere you drive, there's just homes that are boarded up, completely unusable, no utilities connected to them. These are not homes people can live in. Okay. But that section there, even if you take 35% of that off of 15 million, which actually in 2017 it was more like 17 or 18 million vacant homes. Now it's less, but still, if you take that out of there, there still leaves a big chunk, right? Well, let's take a look at what some of these other ones are here. So seasonal and vacation homes or second homes. That means that a person may be snowbirding. They live in Michigan. They own a home down in Florida. They come down and live in that home for a few months out of the year. They may rent it out as a vacation rental during the rest of the time. Those homes represent a good portion of homes that are on the market, and those homes are going to be vacant sometimes in a year. And if you're only taking your snapshot of inventory of what's vacant during one set period of time, there's going to be a significant portion of those that are going to be listed as vacant homes, but they're not like available for you to go buy or for someone else to go live in. They're people do use them. They just don't use them as much as a person uses for their primary home they're living in all year round. Then the 17% up here is for rent. This 17% here actually represent turnover in rent. So this is not a home that's available for rent that's been sitting on the market all year. This is one person's moved out, another person's moved in. Even if it's vacant on that one day that they were taking the survey, person moves out Friday, Saturday it's vacant, Sunday it's not vacant. That day it still counts as a vacant home. So there's going to be a certain amount of turnover in homes with rentals, especially with rentals, because rentals turn over more often than homes that are being purchased. That are going to show up on this survey as a vacant home, but that's not really vacant for the sake of when you're looking at the meme that says that there's 15 million vacant available homes in the U.S. Then you have these sections here with 4% rented not occupied and sold not occupied. These are people who are currently renting a home or they just bought a home and they're just not living in it yet. They may be relocating due to work or they may be temporarily on leave or in the military or things like that. That's another 8% that's not represented in that. So now you have left over for actual homes that people aren't living in and are for sale, 7%. If you take 7% of 17 million from 2017, you end up with in between 1 and 2 million homes, which is considered to be normal inventory in a housing market. So normal inventory would be you put a house on the market, it doesn't sell quite in 30 days, more than 30 days, less than 90 days, that's considered to be a normal inventory for the average home. Then that's where housing data shows that, the housing market will have between 1 and 2 million homes. Now, 2021, it's much worse than that. Yes, instead of 18 million homes, they're saying there's about 15 million available vacant units, but there's only about 300,000 to 400,000 available units for sale right now, with the millennial population of 10 million buying their first homes, or some of them buying their second, upgrading and things like that, depending on if you're on the lower end of that millennial spectrum or the higher end in your mid 30s. So yeah, I mean, there's not all of these, functional available homes that are for sale. There's 140 million U.S. housing units nationwide. And if you were to take one single day, there's going to be a percentage of those that are going to be vacant due to these temporary reasons. And there's going to be another large part of the vacancy of that percentage that are going to be homes that you can't use. So the real question is not how many units are vacant at one point in time. The real question is how many usable units are sitting vacant for a long period of time, meaning that they're not being used, 6 months to a year. They're just sitting there while, just collecting dust. And the answer to that question is there ain't many of those. It's actually expensive, or the opportunity cost is really high on them because the prices are so high. This is the free market, laws of supply and demand. If the demand is really high and the supply is really low, prices go up, and we are in a low supply market. So that $15 million, that 15 million housing meme is kind of deceptive. And that's all I want to say.